Good morning, class. Let's get started. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay, first thing I wanted to do with you guys today. Was to do a bell ringer. I wanted to break the ice on the topic today. So I wrote it over here, sorry about my handwriting. Think about examples of media, literally anything. It could be movies, poetry, old stuff, it could be music, books or speeches, whatever it is, like for classes or in your free time. I'll give you this to write it on. I'll collect this later. Just like jot down as many examples as you can. It does not have to be full sentences. So I'll give you guys just like 30 seconds for a minute to do that. Anything you guys have thought critically about, whether it's for an assignment or you just spend a lot of time because you love doing it. Just a couple more seconds. All right, finish what you're writing. All right, does anyone want to share just like one of the examples they wrote down? Yes.
I put Star Wars and its politics.
Nice, I love Star Wars. You did too?
Yeah, I put Star Wars too.
Did you also?
No, but that was good one.
So that'd be outstanding. 3 of a kind. All right. Basically, the whole point is you have done media analysis. You've critically thought about the way things went into a larger thing, like politics in Star Wars or politics in Harry Potter, how current events can inspire music or speeches. It's kind of all interconnected. It's like how we come into things with our biases. Everything influences everything, even when you don't, even when you're not aware of it. And that's true for them. I guess another good example of it would be, think about like posts on social media, like after, I guess, maybe Taylor's album came out, everyone posting analyses of it in depth, like the threads on Twitter or the video essays on YouTube. People are big into it. Like they want to know, they want to dig through everything, what everything means, what things maybe don't mean, things like that. And that's a form of critically analyzing something and forming an argument about it, which is what we're going to be doing today. All right. The lesson objective for today, as I said, is to analyze some stuff. Specifically, I brought 2 works of literature. They're very different, made very different time periods. I'll go ahead. Anyone want to pass that out, or?
I can do it.
Thank you. Pass up this one. Pass out the bigger one. Don't be too afraid of the bigger one, even though it's stapled. We're not. We'll probably skim through that. There should be an extra. Thank you. Appreciate that. Bonus points. All right. So yes, we'll be looking at those 2 texts, the poem and then the short story. And what I'd like you guys to do, the goal for today, is to write a claim about both of them. Very simple claim, probably just a sentence long, somewhere on the text when we go over it. And then I'm going to want you guys to find 4 specific pieces of evidence in the text and literally just highlight it. We're not writing an essay, we're not doing any drafting right now. I just want to see that you guys can identify things that can help your claim. at least at the surface level. Really basic. All right. Now you might be asking what it means to analyze a text. And it's different for everyone. It's probably different for all four of us. We're all different. We have all different subjects. Some people, it really depends on the setting. They need isolation or like the noise canceling headphones you see around. Some people are the opposite. Some people need auditory, I don't know, they need audiobooks, especially for the larger stuff. It's just easier to understand it if it's read to you. And kind of what we'll be doing with the larger short story is some people just go as quick as they can. They identify what they can see first, and then they dive into it. It really is up to you, especially in like a time crunch situation. Whatever works best for you is what you should do. Yes, the goal is the same no matter what you're doing, to support your claim through your evidence that you can find and support from whatever you're reading. And it doesn't even have to be literature. It could be a movie, it could be art. It's just easier for me to have you guys read something than tell me how a painting, how the artist conveys the meaning through a brush stroke. But you can do that too. Just not my class. All right, so to continue what it means to analyze, we need to identify what teachers are looking for in the first place, what I will be wanting from you guys. So what counts as evidence are direct quotes. I haven't met an English teacher alive that doesn't want you to cite direct passages from the text that you're reading to support your argument. It's some of the best evidence. It's kind of like the author is talking to you and the text is what they're saying. And you can use their words to, and they could be making a completely different argument and it can support your argument. It's kind of a fun give and take. You can also paraphrase, especially with larger texts like the short story, but you want to be careful because it gets kind of muddy. You don't want to completely change the meaning. And then, of course, you want to connect what you find to what you're saying. You want to make sure there's a connection. You don't want to, especially from something larger, you don't want to pull 4 different types of evidence and only one of them actually relates to what you're saying. You found evidence, but you didn't really find evidence for that claim that you're making. And so you just kind of won't get full points. And you just want to make sure you do. And I know you guys already know this, we covered this before, but please, for the love of everything, tell me where you found your information. Please, I beg you, thank you. Okay, now everyone, you should have both texts. I'm not faking my astonishment, honest, and the lady or the tiger. Everyone have that? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. We're gonna look first at I'm Not Faking My Astonishment, Honest by Paige Lewis. This is Miss Lewis. I think there's the copyright on there. This was written and published this year, so it's extremely, extremely new. And it's really short, and I just wanted something bite-sized for you guys to really contrast. Does anyone want to read it? If not, I can take any volunteers. I got it, it's okay. Everyone just follow along. Looking out over the cliff, we're overwhelmed by a sky that seems to heap danger upon us. We end up staring at a single white fluff in the air, feather, fur, dandelion puff. We don't care to define it. The relief of having something to focus our attention. At home, our patio furniture unscrews itself under the usual sun. On this trip, well, I'm not any sadder, I just have more space for my sadness to fill. I don't want to give particulars. A woman huffing up the trail behind us says to her hiking partner, "It wasn't my size, but it was only $9. And now all I want is to see what it is. The future refuses to happen, so where else should I turn?" Alrighty. Now, I want to know what you guys think first. Just like bounce them off me and off each other. Yes.
It feels like she's like sitting on her patio, looking at the sky, and then like she's like in an urban area with people passing and discussing
Okay.
like what they're doing.
Okay. So. All right, so an urban setting on the patio. Anything else?
We got 10 minutes.
Oh, thank you. How does the poem make you feel? Well, what does it make you feel? Does it make you feel anything?
Kind of relaxed a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of just her meditating on something. Like, there's no conflict. You'd be kind of bored if you were looking for a fight. So relaxed, urban, so a comfortable setting. Things that you want to look at. Things that you want to look at, especially with poetry, are it's kind of hard to scope, but all the details. Like, with poetry, it's usually much smaller, so they have to be more deliberate about what they're putting in. So think about the title, think about how long the poem is, how they break the line, what words they use, things like that. All right, now, something I'd like you to do is take just 20 to 30 seconds, and your immediate reactions to the poem, what you think is happening, I want you to make a claim, and just write it somewhere on the page. All right, now I'm going to pass out some highlighters, and you don't have to use these. I just figured these might be a little bit more fun. Use the highlighters or your pen and pencil and just annotate. Take 3 minutes. Jot whatever you want, whatever notes you have, highlight whatever you want. Anything that supports your claim in your eyes. Good, everyone's doing some different stuff, that's fun. Just another couple seconds. All right. Here. So, now that we have individually done, I'm curious. I'd like to know each of your guys' claim and just a single piece of evidence that you marked up. So I'll call you first.
So I said that she's reflecting on aspects of life, and then the part where she says the relief of having something to focus our attention, she's talking about like the dandelion puff or feather or fur, like just floating. So she started thinking about like different things in life.
Yeah, no, that's great. Okay, cool.
I also said that she was reflecting, but I said she was reflecting on her own feelings. The part where it says, I'm not any sadder, I just have more space for my sadness to fill. At the top, we're overwhelmed. And then after she's talking about the dandelion puff, she's like, we don't care. So.
No, yeah, especially with poetry, it's usually them thinking, like their POV is the main point of view. So I like that you noticed that.
I kind of wrote how it made me feel. I put it like made me feel calm and relaxed and like reminds me of a sunny day.
No, that's great.
And I I highlighted overwhelmed by a sky, and then when she's talking about the white fluff in the air, feather for dandelion puff. And then I put like trail behind, cause like she's on a trail.
Yeah, no, it's a very in tune with nature poem, which is kind of a hallmark. So it is awesome to make a claim about how it makes you feel. All right. The next activity is the scarier text. The Lady or the Tiger, written by this dude, Frank R. Stockton, back in like the 1890s. I wanted a really old short story. It is so long, there's no way that we'll be able to have you all read it and skim through it and highlight everything. So I'm going to give you a big gist, a synopsis, and have you go from there. Basically, this story takes place in a really barbaric society where this king is the total ruler. And anyone that's accused of a crime, even doesn't necessarily commit the crime, is brought to this arena where they have these two doors they have to pick one of. And behind the door is either a beautiful lady or a very hungry tiger that will then eat them. So you literally are picking your sentence and you don't know which one it is. The main conflict is the king's daughter fell in love with the man, and the king didn't like that. So the man was brought to the arena. And he was having the lady, the man was, tell him, what door to pick, because she knew, and he didn't. And the conflict, and where it ends on the cliffhanger, is she becomes so jealous of the other lady behind the door that he could get paired up with, that it's left ambiguous as to what door she tells him to pick, and like what is ethical in that decision, to kill him, or if I can't have you, nobody can kind of mentality. And so, yes, it's kind of a famous conundrum, like an impossible situation kind of deal. So, would you want to live in a world like that? I don't think that seems very fair. It's kind of it's maybe a little bit better of a justice system than ours, but similar to last time, I want you guys to write a claim. It's very short, but take a 20 seconds, 30 seconds to do that. All right. You guys have something down. Now, I'd like you guys to, as quick as you can, because this is a very big one. And I want to make sure you have something. Write down at least 2 instead of 4, or highlight at least 2 pieces of evidence that you find. And you can skim whatever you need to do. Just a couple more seconds. All right. Now, would anyone like to share a piece of evidence in their club?
So this time period wouldn't be fun to live in.
Very true.
And then I had said because the very first sentence says there lived a semi-barbaric king, and then the sentence talking about the arena being built and like to view the inevitable conflict between religious opinions and hungry jaws. It just sounds like there's a lot of
It's a very,
headbutting going on.
everyone's happy, yeah.
I put barbaric justice and the unknown, and then I highlighted the last thing in the story that says the lady or the tiger, question mark.
Yeah, roll credits.
I said that it was like the goal of it, like since we were talking about the media and stuff, was to think about the ethical aspect like you talked about. I highlighted in the last little paragraph, the question of fair decision is not one to be lightly considered.
Yeah, I love all your points. I love how different each of the claims were for this text and the last. I love that. That's the whole point. You can make a million different claims about the same text if you ask a million different people. So, all right, if you'll pass forward all the stuff.
Do you need our bell ringers?
Yeah, I'm gonna grade those. Thank you. Thank you, guys.